This is Brum from Brum Gaming, and you're watching the Gunslinger Sharpshooter PvE Spec Guide. This is also viable for snipers as well, with just converting the names of the abilities for the Gunslinger into the sniper, since the mechanics are exactly the same. So first off, let's start with the talent tree. As you can see, I'm 31 points Sharpshooter, 3 points Saboteur, and 7 points Dirty Fighting. Starting here at the bottom, Sharpshooter increases range and tech accuracy by 3%. It's good to go. Steady Shots increases damage by charge burst, speed shots, and wounding shots. Charge burst and speed shots are critical elements of this rotation, so that's a great talent. Cover Screen, when exiting cover, you have a 100% chance to gain cover screen, which increases range defense by 20%. This actually works out through talents that you're not taking upwards in the tree, so this you can fill this in, and it just reduces a little bit of damage that healers have to heal up. Here we have Percussive Shot. When aim shot strikes a target within 10 meters, the target is knocked back several meters. Great PvP talent, but within PvE, this actually forces mobs and targets away from your tanks and melee DPS, and can be a little frustrating, so we don't take that one. Ballistic Dampers basically is 3 charges every time you go into cover that absorb 30% of incoming damage. It happens every 6 seconds. The Ballistic Dampers happens every 6 seconds, and the effect of the damage reduction can happen every 1.5 seconds. So when you go in and out of cover, it reapplies Ballistic Dampers as long as you're not spamming it within 6 seconds of itself. And again, that's a great sort of healing reduction talent that healers have to do less to heal you. Sharp Aim shot ignores 20% of the target's armor, obviously great. Trip Shot reduces the cooldown of leg shot. It's a PvP talent. We don't really need that as a PvE talent. Quick Aim, Charge Burst, and Speed Shot criticals have a 100% chance to reduce the activation time of the next aim shot by 1 second. Aim shot by default has a 2.5 second cooldown, or rather 2.5 second cast time, which is sort of in a damage to energy ratio out of 2.5 seconds is not worth it within a PvE rotation. So this talent makes aim shot actually viable and well worth the time spent casting it. Diversion is basically a 1-minute cooldown for 45% accuracy reduction. This used to work on operation bosses, and now it does not, and so we don't take that talent. Now, if you're just doing heroic flashpoints, you can use this ability, and it does work out. But for the sake of operation bosses, this is not a talent we need to take. Snapshot. Entering cover has a 100% chance to make the next charge burst activate instantly. This is good for minimizing the impact of mobility during fights, so that when you move, you go back into cover. It actually will allow you to cast a charge burst and dump some energy if you're at max. Foxhole, very, very critical talent here. Increases the energy regeneration rate by 1 per second while you're in cover. Amazing. Burst Volley. This is a sort of debatable talent. Aim shot has a 100% chance to grant burst volley, which increases your alacrity by 3% for 6 seconds, and then every charge burst after that, within that time, will increase the alacrity by 3% up to a total of 9%, and that whole thing can only happen every 30 seconds. So you can see that it lasts between, optimally it lasts 18 seconds. Odds are it probably doesn't last that long, but overall, the value of this alacrity is debatable, and primarily I see its impact when you're trying to dump energy through using consecutive charge bursts, rather than being a valuable sort of overall throughput talent. Spacer, Pulse Detonator knocks back a target an additional 2 meters. We don't really care about that for operations bosses. Additionally, reduces the activation time of Freighter Flyby by 1 second. That's actually decent, but you'll want to choose basically between Lay Low and Spacer for this one point, and I'll explain a little bit more when I get to Lay Low. Slick Shooter increases the crit of Charge Burst, Speed Shots, and Trick Shot by 4%. Obviously really good. Trick Shot is actually one of the major DPS abilities of the Sharpshooter tree. It's really low energy, obviously it's instant cast, and it is just very, very high damage. So throughout the rotation of a Sharpshooter PvE spec, you're going to want to maximize your use of Trick Shot. Recoil control actually makes Trick Shot even better by lowering its energy cost more and lowering its cooldown, allowing you to spam it even more. Now, Lay Low reduces the cooldown of Hunker Down by 7.5 seconds. That's cool. I've never seen a fight yet that relies on that extra 7.5 seconds to be awesome. So that's not really the benefit of this talent. The benefit comes from lowering the cooldown of Freighter Flyby by 7.5 seconds. What's important with this one is specifically around particular bosses. For example, the last boss in Hut Hospitality. That boss has a ability where he spawns a bunch of these exploding drones that you need to kill, and you basically AoE them down, and he spawns them every 1 minute. Now, with Freighter Flyby being on a 1 minute cooldown, you have to react to cast Freighter Flyby to kill those spawns. And since they happen every 1 minute, you're basically going to be off by a little bit each time. Now, that's going to prevent you from casting the ability when you need to, because you're always going to be lagging behind since both the ability and Freighter Flyby are on a 1 minute cooldown. So having 1 point in Lay Low allows you to have that 7.5 second gap where the ability will reset prior to the boss's ability. So Freighter Flyby will reset prior to the boss spawning the AoE ability or spawning the AoE add ability, and therefore allowing you to cast the ability when you need to rather than spamming it trying to make up time. Deadeye increases the critical damage by Speed Shot, Quick Draw, and Trick Shot by 30%. That's basically free surge for those abilities. And then Rapid Fire immediately finishes the cooldown of Speed Shot and makes the next Speed Shot trigger no cooldown. Speed Shot is a very high damage to energy ratio, and it's actually a positive energy ability, or what I would call a positive energy ability, because when you cast it, if you cast Rapid Fire above 60 energy, it actually leaves you with the same, if not more, energy than you started with, based on the regeneration rate of your energy. Especially with Foxhole, it'll actually leave you with more. So if you cast it at 60, you'll be upwards of 80 or 90 energy by the time you're done. Rapid Fire allows you to use that to kind of maintain your energy while maximizing your damage, and also filling in different abilities in your rotation that are on cooldown, like Aim Shot and Trick Shot. So that's the 31 points in Sharpshooter. For Saboteur, obviously we want Streetwise, increases cunning by a flat 9%, which is awesome. Then into Dirty Fighting, increases alacrity by 4%. We got Black Market mods. No Holds Barred, we got 6% increase to ranged and tech critical chance, which covers all of our abilities. We don't want the Holdout Defense, which is the Blaster Whip increase, because that's a melee ability. We never use it. Then we have Open Wound, increases the duration of Vital Shot by 3 seconds. And Mortal Wound increases, or rather, Vital Shot has a 12.5% chance to tick twice when it inflicts damage. Open Wound basically increases the damage and lowers the energy cost of Vital Shot, simply because we don't have to refresh it as much. And then Mortal Wound definitely just increases the damage, or I should say the potential damage of Vital Shot. So that's the overall spec. Now let's talk a little bit about the rotation. So with the Sharpshooter rotation, you're going to want to keep Flourish Shot, which does a little bit of damage, but mainly it reduces the target's armor by 20% for 45 seconds. You're going to keep Flourish Shot up, and you're going to want to keep Vital Shot up, just because we spoke about the damage that Vital Shot does, as well as its ability to do damage while you're moving, while you're running away from stuff. It's still ticking away and keeping up some kind of damage if you're unable to be doing damage, due to those encounter abilities. So we've got Flourish Shot up, we've got Vital Shot up. From there, we're going to open with Speed Shots. The reason we open with Speed Shots is because we have the talent right here, Quick Aim, where Charge Burst and Speed Shot criticals, specifically Speed Shot criticals, have a 100% chance to reduce the activation time of Aim Shot by 1 second. We already talked about how Aim Shot is just too long of a cast time to be used by itself without that ability procced. And Speed Shot is a channeled ability that does damage periodically throughout the channel, so it actually does damage multiple times. Odds are, depending on your crit, you're going to crit with Speed Shots during the cast. Since you're going to crit with Speed Shots during the cast, that's automatically going to make Aim Shot a shorter cast. So it's going to go Speed Shots, then to Aim Shot. When Aim Shot's done, Trick Shot will be enabled, because Trick Shot's enabled after Aim Shot or Charge Burst. You're going to cast Trick Shot. Again, always want to keep this on cooldown whenever possible. From there, you're going to want to evaluate your energy, as well as look at your debuffs, both Flourish Shot and Vital Shot, to see whether they're on cooldown. If you have enough energy, and if your debuff abilities are still active, then you'll cast Charge Burst. And you'll cast Charge Burst basically until Speed Shots comes up, never bringing yourself below 60 energy. If you do go below 60 energy, you'll want to cast Flurry of Bolts, which is your free cast that does damage and will essentially allow you to regenerate energy. So we've got Bodar here. He's going to help us out. He's going to attack that Sith Master, and I'll show you the general rotation here. So here he goes. So we're going to cast Flourish Shot into Vital Shot, then Speed Shots. Speed Shots into Aim Shot, which is going to activate Trick Shot. So we'll hit Trick Shot. Look at our debuffs. They're still active. Casting Charge Burst, Charge Burst, Charge Burst into a Trick Shot because it just activated. We're at 60 energy. I'm going to throw in a Flurry into Speed Shots. When Speed Shot's done, Aim Shots will be up. Go into Aim Shot, back into Trick Shot, and you would continue sort of that process. And again, you're going to want to check periodically whether Vital Shots and Flourish Shots are still up. A good way to look at it is you're going to cast Vital Shot 3 times before you need to rebuff Flourish Shots. It's roughly around there. It's not quite exact because of the increase in Flourish Shot, or rather increase in Vital Shot duration. So again, I'll do it one more time here. We're going to go Flourish Shot into Vital Shot, into Speed Shots, Speed Shots into Aim Shot, Aim Shot into Trick Shot. We're going to look at all our abilities. We're good. Go into Charge Burst, Charge Burst again. Going to Vital Shot to keep ourselves up. Trick Shot, because we're there, we still are good. Vital Shot just went down, so I would cast Vital Shot again. So Vital Shot, essentially, but now we're killing a soft mob here, so I'm just going to do this to stay alive. So again, that's the general rotation. Unfortunately, there's no, there's no training dummies where I can show you a consistent rotation. You can check out some of the kill videos that I have for longer duration fights, but that's the gist of the rotation. So just to recap. Flourish Shot and Vital Shot up at all times. Speed Shot into Aim Shot into Trick Shot. Also using Trick Shot whenever it's up. Then looking at your energy, casting Charge Burst until about 70% or so energy. Keeping yourself above 60 energy at all times. Using Flurry of Bolts to keep or to keep yourself and regenerate energy above 60 when you can. As far as your DPS cooldowns, you'll want to time these when it's optimal in the fight. When you're not going to pull aggro, when you've got a consistent time to DPS the boss and you're not going to have to move for any reason. And you're going to want to burn them early so that they come up in multiple times during the fight. So you've got your Adrenal potentially, you've got illegal mods, you've got Smuggler's Luck. Cool Head is actually a DPS cooldown because it recovers energy, and same thing with Rapid Fire. So that's an overview of the PvE Sharpshooter spec. This is, like I said in the beginning of the video, this is definitely viable for Sniper. All you have to do is change the ability names around, and the mechanics are exactly the same. So I hope that was helpful, and I'm also going to be creating videos for Dirty Fighting Sab Hybrid PvP spec and Sharpshooter PvP spec as well. So be sure to look out for those and subscribe. See you guys.